What if I told you that addiction is not just about willpower, it's about chemistry? And there's one chemical in your brain that can hijack your decision making, your habits, and even your future. That chemical is dopamine. Welcome to Addicted No More, where we talk about the science of addiction, recovery, and taking your brain back. Today we're going to talk about how dopamine hijacks your brain and how you can take control back. Most people think dopamine is a pleasure chemical, but dopamine is not pleasure. Dopamine is motivation. Dopamine is the chemical that says, do that again. It realized when you eat, that when you scroll on social media, and when you gamble, and when you use substances, and even when you anticipate something exciting. Dopamine doesn't care if something is good for you or bad for you. It only cares if the behavior should be repeated, and so increase your chances of developing an habitual habit, which in turn is going to lead to addiction. Here's where the problem starts. When a behavior causes a large dopamine spike, like drugs, alcohol, porn, gambling, or even social media, your brain releases more dopamine than normal. Your brain then rewires itself through something called neuroplasticity. There's a rule in brain science: neurons that fire together stay together. So when you get these neurotransmitters firing and they actually attach to another chemical in your brain and they cause dendrites, which create a path of proteins to a trauma or something that's very pleasurable, you remember it. And the stronger that you make that connection, the more your brain will go to it for the answer. But it's not always the correct answer. So what happens? The brain starts building a superhighway to the behavior. And at the same time, the brain weakens the prefrontal cortex, which is the part of your brain responsible for decision making and logical decisions. Okay? Making self-control and thinking about consequences. So now we have the emotional brain becomes stronger, and our thinking brain becomes weaker. That's the hijack. This is where people say, I don't know why I did it. I don't know myself. I wouldn't do it again. That's not who I want to be. Because addiction is not a character problem. Addiction is a brain wiring problem. And I want you so much to understand that your subconscious, which is where all your pleasure lies in your hippocampus, right, acts 5 times faster than your prefrontal cortex, which is where your thinking is. And the great early psychologist, Carl Jung, put it like this: until we make the unconscious conscious, it will run our lives and we will call it fate. And that's basically what we are doing when we are using up all of the dopamine to create these pathways, these pleasure pathways, which feel good, but ultimately come to destroy us because it overtakes and hijacks our thinking. And we can't think straight anymore. All we think about is what is coming from the subconscious. And that's the start. Now, there is a way out of this, and I'm glad to say that we created this YouTube page exactly for that. Addicted No More. We will show you how to regain your mental capacity so that you can once again make the correct decisions rather than being overrode by the chemicals in your brain, and especially the dopamine that has hijacked your brain for all pleasure. So stay tuned and we will be back soon. Okay? Thank you. And if you would like to subscribe to our page, please do, or like our page. This is just a brief synopsis of what we are going to be covering in the coming weeks. Thank you. Bye.